one for the money, two for the show.
As the 40th anniversary of the King of Rock and Roll's passing approaches, we caught up with Mark Andrew, one of Australia's leading Elvis impersonators, to chat about his amazing career, his recent fundraising performance in Traralgon, and all things Elvis Presley.
So tell us what brought you here to the VRI Hall in Traralgon to start off.
Well, I was invited to come down and do a fundraiser for the community hall. Basically, they're raising some funds for the hall, and I sort of jump at those community things. I do a lot of big shows, but bringing it back down to earth and doing something for the community is great, and you kind of had that old-fashioned feel today, with the chairs and the rows, and and I sort of joke around. I walk amongst the people and crack some jokes and get to meet people personally on a one-on-one, and it's just a great thing. So my first experience with Elvis was my brother was a fan, and he became a fan from our uncle. So our uncle was living with us in Clayton in Melbourne, and he used to buy the records and everything, and we used to frisbee them, in the garden and everything. And anyway, so we got in trouble for that, but then my brother became the Elvis fan first. And when Elvis died, I can remember that moment, when you heard that Elvis died, but it wasn't until 2 years later that Kurt Russell played Elvis. They made a movie about his life story. And it was just something that really struck with me as a 14-year-old. And he was my hero. He was like the new guy that I looked up to. And I think Elvis had that influence on so many musicians and, actors and all that sort of thing, because, you just had that charisma and that thing that just drew you in. And once you were magnetized to Elvis, that was it. There was no turning back. So I do Dean Martin, I do Buddy, John Lennon, and Jim Morrison from The Doors, and I do a comedy floor show of Austin Powers.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a real versatile thing, and I do Danny Zuko in Grease, and kind of love being versatile, really. I love, and when I play Elvis, I channel the character. I go from it not so much just the entertainment, but also, trying to be authentic and make the audience feel like they are at an Elvis show,
I have to ask you about the costumes.
Yes.
Where do you get this stuff made?
Right. Well, there's a company in America now. There's a few, but there's this one particular company that had all the patterns and all the machinery and everything passed down from them. So these are exactly identical to what Elvis had. And these guys were working with Elvis's designers. Gene Dorset, who did all the embroidery, and Bill Belew, who was the one that invented the big collar for Elvis, because Elvis was very conscious about his neck. And that's why he used to put his collar up, because his mum used to call him pin neck when in the 50s, so he always had that insecurity about his neck. So
do you have to, to fit into that sort of stuff, do you have to keep a bit of a training regime? Because you're a pretty fit looking bloke.
Well, yeah, I'm sort of stage fit, and I get out and do a few boot camps with my fiancée. Obviously, she's, in the industry, and we have a healthy sort of routine at home, eating well, but I kind of do go off the rails sometimes and love my pizza and that sort of thing, but it's all about the balance.
I think that's what Elvis did anyway, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
So 40 years this year of his passing, the
Yes.
anniversary, or alleged passing, perhaps we could say,
Wow.
because there are the rumours.
Yes.
Do you think that as the fan base has got bigger or more intense over the last?
It's definitely got bigger, and because a lot of people experience Elvis in different ways at certain times of their life, and even I meet so many young people. They're so young, but they're just obsessed with Elvis already, And they might see a movie or this and that, or a performer like myself, and they, the next show they come, oh, you got me into Elvis,
Well, seeing you've lived and breathed Elvis for so long,
Yes.
I have a quiz for you today.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to ask you some Elvis questions.
No problem.
And see how well you know the man
All right,
himself.
right.
So let me start off with,
Yes.
it's a maths question.
Yes.
If Elvis was alive today, how old would he be?
He was born in 35, so 82.
Correct. Very good. All right, question number 2. It's an easy one. Where was Elvis born?
He was born in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Correct. All right, number 3. How many times did Elvis tour Australia?
None. In 1960s, Elvis wanted to come out to Australia. Well, this was during the movies. Oh, that's right. But the fans were like, "Oh, bring Elvis to Australia." So the Colonel sent Elvis's Cadillac on a tour to Australia. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't have that one written down. We'll fill that in later. All right, question 4. Elvis is Norse for what?
He's Norse.
Yeah, as in Norse, what is that, the country or the language? The language, Norse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For wise men.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Question number 5. Research shows that Elvis is one of the most popular passwords for computers. What's your computer password?
Oh, it's not Elvis.
Mark, thanks so much for your time today. It's been great to talk to you. Just wanted to wish you all the best for your future as Elvis, and to Lisa as well for what you guys have got planned. Well, I guess he left the building.
Thank you.